Republican Paul Ryan today saying that he would vote down the debt commission plan because it props up the health care law. My next guest also has some issues with it. Republican Senator Rand Paul, who will be the senator from Kentucky. Senator-elect, we've been keeping count of the debt commission. 18 members all, 9 at the latest count who are for this, which is a surprise. They didn't think they'd even get that high. But a significant number not for this. You had serious reservations, so much so you wouldn't vote for it. Why?
Well, what I say is that they've come up with some good ideas in the sense that for the first time in a long time, people are honestly talking about the problems we have with funding Social Security and Medicare. So often in our campaigns, this just becomes a debate about scaring senior citizens about this. And now for the first time in our country, I think we're having a serious debate about how to fix these things. So I think they are addressing some good things. Like I think we probably do have to look at gradually over time raising the age on eligibility. But I don't want to increase taxes. I think government takes too much of our income in taxes, and that I want to grow the private sector, not grow the government sector.
But I guess you could look at that a variety of ways, Rand, right? I mean, you're right. And by raising a lot of taxes directly and indirectly, by removing credits and exemptions and allowances, gasoline tax hikes 50 cents a gallon over the next few years, paying the rich, in particular, paying more for Social Security, probably getting fewer benefits. It's offset, though, by sharply lower income rates, much, much lower. So the argument on behalf of them, I was talking to Alan Simpson, the co-chair of this committee, along with Erskine Bowles yesterday. They said the offset more than adjusts that. Do you agree?
Well, I think we don't know exactly. I would say that lower rates and simpler rates would do a lot. I think it would spur the economy in a big way. Unfortunately, our deficit's so bad that nobody's willing to entertain that without other tax increases somewhere else. I look at it more as how big the pie is. You know, the government pie used to be about 20% of GDP, and now it's nearly 25% of GDP. I want to shrink the government pie back down to about 20% or even 18%, and in doing so, expand the private sector, and that's where the jobs are created. So I don't want to do anything that increases money that government's going to get. I would rather accept less benefits. For example, rather than punishing those who make $200,000 a year by having them pay more Social Security taxes all the way up to $200,000, let's simply reduce the benefits of those who make a lot of money in retirement and have means testing in order to allow us to have a system that's solvent without raising taxes.
But isn't that essentially, at least on Social Security, what this commission's doing?
Would the commissions, I missed the last part of your question?
Isn't that what this commission's doing regarding Social Security?
Some of it is, and I think we need to do it, but we probably need to speed up the timetable. I mean, they're talking about having the age change by 1 year over 40 years. You know, it'll be going up to 68 by the year 2050. I think we have to acknowledge that our problems are much more serious, that we need to speed up the timetable, and it really needs to start pretty quickly. You know, really, within the next 10 years, people are predicting that the entitlements plus interest will consume the whole budget. So really, you know, people are starting to say the biggest threat to our national security is that we'll have no money for national security because entitlements are crowding out everything.
Your points are all good. Here's what worries me. We turn our back on this attempt, and you have to be fair here because I see all your issues with it, and I have serious issues myself. But it's the most serious attempt ever made on this issue, by far, by anyone, ever. And we turn our back.
I agree.
We turn our back on it. You're right. We could address some of these issues you talk about, but
right. No,
I don't know if this ship is coming by again.
Well, see, what I would say is I agree we should not discount the work that Erskine Bowles and Alan Simpson have put into this and the commission members. I think they deserve great credit, and the President deserves some great credit for coming and talking about this issue and having a serious discussion. but you've elected people to Congress. Now let's flesh out the details and let those of us who advocate for certain positions advocate for those, and let's get legislation. So I'm not saying we discount it, but we don't just take the whole Debt Commission report and say this is the answer as is.
But isn't that the way it's being presented?
On these things.
Rand, I mean, when I talked to Erskine Bowles and Senator Simpson, they said the whole idea of this commission, like other commissions, like the Military Base Closing Commission, and was, you know, yay or nay on the whole package, and to avoid this type of picky-ayun debate. I'm not saying the picky-ayun isn't important that you're raising it, but that to avoid, you know, just debating this ad nauseum, yay or nay the whole package. You would say nay to the package, and I guess what I'm saying is, you know, there are a lot of, you know, liberals who are saying nay to the package for the Social Security thing. But in other words, there's a lot here for everyone to hate, but that in and of itself must be a positive sign, right?
I don't think we should abdicate our duty in Congress to do what we were asked to do, and that's deliberate upon the business of the country. But I would say the
rap against these guys is that you haven't, not you, Rand, because you're new to this. But this commission was set up because the Congress hadn't, you know.
But I don't want government by committee, by unelected committee. That's part of my grievance with government in general, is that they're passing the buck to unelected bureaucrats at the EPA or unelected commission members. We can't unelect, nor did we elect anyone on the Debt Commission. I'm not discounting what they are doing. I think they're bringing up important, serious questions, and this is something that hopefully will be a game changer, but it has to come to Congress, and the people who are elected by the people in each of the states, we need to weigh in on it, and we need to have a really serious argument about it. But yes, we have to do something, otherwise entitlements are going to consume the whole budget, and we do have to look at eligibility. I think the answer needs to be as simple as possible. That's why I've said let's emphasize the age adjustment as much as we can for both Social Security and Medicare over time. Let's try to fix as much of the shortfall with one simple change that we can debate and argue upon. But I don't want to raise taxes, because if we raise taxes, you're taking money from the productive sector and giving it to the unproductive sector. And I don't want to give any more money to Washington. I want to make them make do with what we have.
Speaking of taxes, very quickly, the administration, some argue, put a monkey in the wrench here today by saying that they want to extend a lot of the stimulus-related tax cuts that I guess normally would have expired this year, roll it in with an extension of jobless benefits. I'm taking the leap here, Rand, so I could be very wrong. In fact, count on me for likely being wrong. But that this is a negotiating chit with Republicans to say, you extend ours, we'll extend yours, deal done. Would you vote for something like that?
Well, you have to tell me a little more. We're talking about extending beyond 99 weeks, the unemployment benefits,
yes.
Or what are we talking about? Well, I think 99 weeks is an incredibly long time, and the unemployment benefits are paid for through somewhat of an insurance program that pays for itself through taxation through about 26 weeks. So anything beyond the 26 weeks is just added to the deficit, and we're actually talking about pretty large numbers now. We're talking about over $100 billion a year, and I don't think that's how you get out of a recession. You get out of a recession by encouraging employment, not encouraging unemployment.
Okay, but when it comes to extending the stimulus tax cuts from President Obama and maybe make that a bargaining chip to extend the Bush tax cuts, that portion you before. In other words, it would be a battle, I guess, over whose tax cuts are bigger, I guess. But in the end, that's what it would be. What do you think?
I'm not sure what the end game strategy will be, or how each individual or myself even may come down, but I would say that we need to not let the Bush tax cuts expire. Businesses and individuals have made their judgments for their business and their predictions for their business over a many-year period.
What about the Obama tax cuts? I'm sorry, I'm not clear, Rand. What about the Obama tax cuts? If you had it right, we'll extend the Bush ones if you extend the Obama ones.
Well, I'm not sure I'm for calling any tax cuts that they're Bush or Obama. I don't care who they originated under. It doesn't matter to me. I just don't want to rescind any tax cuts. I don't want to do anything to grow the government sector. You know, look at the government sector. It's just amazing. We've been looking at the budget numbers, trying to come up with a balanced budget now in our campaign, in our office. And it's just amazing to see how everything doubled in the space of less than 10 years.
No, I
Almost
understand that, Rand. I just want to be clear.
Doubled,
as long as it didn't include extending jobless benefits that you didn't think we could pay for, extending the Obama tax cuts, the Bush tax, all of them, that you would be for.
Yeah, I'm for extending all the tax cuts. I'm not for rescinding any tax cuts, no matter who originated them.
Understood. Rand Paul, only a few weeks away becoming senator. Paul, thank you. Very good seeing you.
Thank you.